Addison Rae is perhaps the most famous person to have emerged from TikTok fame. She is a TikToker turned pop star who is now doing her best to shed what used to be her image and be a mature, flourishing pop star. And she's doing everything she can as well to gain a following of mostly Twitter stans who are intensely anti-Trump, which means she's going back on her previous support, or at least friendliness, toward Trump in the past. And she is making statements that she's afraid of what is to come in the Trump administration.
Do you think part of this feels like it's going backwards? Like, it feels like the culture has been shifting towards Trump in the last several months, and now this is one of the weird instances of it shifting back the other way?
It's not exactly that. I think it's if you want a following of intense cult-like
her genre
stans
of music, yeah. Like
in her genre, in her area, like in her niche, so that she has to appeal to them.
So that when things come up on Pop Base, they say she ate.
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
Or she spilled.
We have another 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. I've heard that 50% of the reason Broccoli cut the Amazon deal was that she was just tired of fighting with no resolution. It's clear it's one of those life's too short situations.
Yeah, I don't blame her. She's in her 70s or late 60s or something. Go
retire, girl.
Look, I understand. I'm the type of guy who's like, look, I want the stuff to be good too, but on the other hand, pragmatically, I'm like, go do your thing.
It should be noted that Addison Rae has been a laughingstock on the internet for a very long time.
She's a lol cow?
No, I wouldn't say a lol cow because she didn't really do anything to deserve it other than appear to be just, a very basic normie sorority chick. And she was known mainly for doing stupid TikTok dances and being an Instagram baddie.
So
but now she wants people to take her seriously as an artist and a thinker. So this is from her recent interview in Vogue. She also wants to be seen as a fashion pioneer. That's another part of her new persona.
She's got a long way to go.
Yeah. Addison Rae tells Vogue France about how she is worried about Donald Trump's rise to power. She said, "Yes, things are changing at a crazy speed. It's inconceivable to see how quickly one can abuse newly acquired power, thus being disconnected from others and from the values of your country. And it seems that some freedoms are slowly being taken away from us, which is very creepy."
The values of our country is to let NGOs and bureaucrats bleed us dry of all our money through taxes and black budgets. That's the values of America.
What are the freedoms
that are being taken
away?
That are
being taken away. I want to understand, what she thinks. What does she think is being stripped away from her? Because it certainly isn't anything to do with abortion.
No.
Literally nothing has happened on the abortion front since Trump took office. And that's what I would assume if we were talking before the election.
Yeah.
But now that it's happened and nothing has transpired in that arena in terms of controlling women's bodies.
For men to compete in women's sports?
Well, I would hope Addison Rae is not concerned with that because she is biologically female. But she also was asked for her take on the TikTok ban and why Trump doesn't deserve credit for reinstating TikTok. And she is essentially the avatar for TikTok and the accessibility to fame and money and success it gives to creators. She says she does not feel the need to thank Donald Trump for saving TikTok. She refuses to give him the credit because, quote, "he was the one who originally created the problem. He was the cause of the blockage. I remember the first time I heard about a possible ban on the app was around 2020. I was worried. Of course, I'm glad the network survived."
Allow me to remind you that Donald Trump proposed a ban of TikTok on government phones, not on regular people's devices, and that the TikTok ban was then pushed through during the Biden administration, blah, 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 blah. It took 10 seconds of research to look any of that up.
So after the deadline of January 19th, they decided to delay the decision, right? So is a U.S. company still going to buy out
I don't know what's going on.
TikTok? It seems to be in limbo still. So
like they're
I
just
don't
gonna
know
keep
exactly
kicking
what's
the can
happening.
down the road,
Yeah.
like farther and farther and farther. It's really funny. Like I was like when we were coming home from out of town, we were kind of talking about like the things in which like Trump's base disagree with him on. It came up because they were talking about the what was it, the $5,000 checks if we close down the IRS, and people going back and forth about whether that was a good idea. But it also came up because of the discussion of IVF expansion and the fact that a good amount of his base would disagree with him on that. But that's what happens when you create a big tent political party that has a bunch of disparate ideologies. And the problem is when you have nobody left to fight on the other side, you're going to start fighting amongst yourselves. But you know, the TikTok one is a contentious one for quite a few people.
We have a 20 from Value in You. So, Mary, did your Elon opinion change post-election, i.e. specifically with how he has partnered with Trump? He seemed pretty non-censorship and fair elections focused prior. I've had a bad feeling about Elon pretty much from day one. I have never found him likable or trustworthy. I think his involvement with Neuralink and transhumanism and tech accelerationism is basically just everything you need to know about his agenda. And he shares very little in terms of actual values and policy goals with the people who got Trump elected. So no, it didn't change post-election. If anything, I like him even less since November. But here's what's ironic about this situation, though. Addison Rae, for years and still to this day, has received criticism for supposedly being a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
She is perceived by a lot of people as being amenable to Trump, specifically because of her decision to introduce herself to Trump at a UFC event back in 2021, which you can see here.
Yeah, hold on. Forgot this was that long ago.
Yeah.
It's like, buddy, get the fuck out of the way, man.
I'm Addison. Nice to meet you. I have to say hi. Hello.
It's like, buddy, you know?
Nice to meet you.
Buddy, you know?
Addison Rae exposed. She knows what she's doing. Yeah.
Trump's gonna fuck her. Easy.
Yo, you're a funny ass guy, bro.
Okay.
So after this video came out of Addison Rae introducing herself and just not being toxic toward Trump to his face, she had to defend herself against a swarm of hate comments that were basically saying, like, you voted for him. And she said, I don't support Trump at the time. And if someone does, that's their opinion. And I respect everyone's opinion, for each their own. But it's a very rare occasion that you get to meet a former president. And I think most people could agree with me on that.
It's like the most normal take ever.
Right.
Prior to 2016.
She
Literally
said,
the most normal take ever.
I consider myself a friendly person, so introducing myself doesn't mean I stand behind anything that respective person condones. So basically, retweets don't equal endorsements. She's allowed to be a friendly person and meet someone who is of note.
Correct.
And not spit in his face.
But the culture that she is trying to break into as an artist demands literally the total opposite of that.
Exactly.
There is a desire for complete. You're not allowed to go outside of the leftist political view. Far, not even just leftist. Far, far, far left. If you want to be part of Stan Twitter.
Well, those comments about her being a Trump supporter have not waned at all since 2021. And as recently as 2 days ago, a Twitter account said, I actually despise Addison Rae. Her music is trash. She's a Trumpy, and I will not forget her god-awful TikTok dances. So here's a funny thing. The Addison Rae fans have a special name for their fandom. They're called the Racists.
Let's go.
RAECIST.
Okay.
They're called Addison Racists.
Okay.
So one of the racists who goes by number one racist on Twitter replied saying, oh, you dumb bitch. You can't decide on a gender, but you can decide to hate Addison. She has more talent in her pinky than you have in your entire big ass body. Yeah. That's the general tone that is coming from Addison Rae's camp currently.
Yeah. Again, like there is no place like Stan Twitter. I highly recommend if
They're
you ever
deranged.
want an idea of just how bad it can be the other direction. I recommend going and looking into it. It's really, really funny.
In this same Vogue
Kind of in
interview,
a way, like in the same way where even if you like Donald Trump, you know that like really, really weird aunt that you might have that posts the Trump memes with like where he's riding a unicorn to the stars.
Yeah.
With like an American flag on his shoulder. Like it's kind of like the opposite of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Even someone
Like-
who voted for Trump can recognize that some of the fanfare is
Are
a little
weird.
bit over the
Yeah,
top.
like it's kind of like if you were looking for the opposite direction of where we go one, we go all. Going the opposite direction is a different type of cult.
Right, and Addison Rae is building her own cult right now. And from the same interview that she did with Vogue, she was asked to comment on Mark Zuckerberg saying that in the corporate world, we are in need of more masculine energy. This is something that he stated on his Joe Rogan interview. And she responded to him saying, "I think we've had our dose of masculine energy. No need to add more. What the world needs is feminine energy."
I don't believe for a second that she believes a word she just said.
No?
I believe everything she just said is a pointed and approved corporate slogan from 2017. It's like Single Ladies by Beyonce is playing in the background.
I mean, it depends on what you mean by the word feminine. You know, it depends on what that means
I don't
to
think she's
you.
talking about the divine feminine. I don't think she's talking about any type of nuanced feminine. I think she's talking about feminism, not even in a way which she believes, but just merely because it's the talking point she needs for pop-based people to like her.
What do you think of Zuckerberg's initial statement about the corporate world needing
I don't
more
believe
masculine energy?
he believes a word he says either. I think he
Right.
says what he's going to say to try and bolster his business.
I agree.
Don't trust any tech oligarch. That goes for Elon, that goes for Zuckerberg, that goes for Bezos. Trust them as far as you can get something from them, whether it's better access to to their material, whether it's them making a product you like. Not that anybody likes Meta anymore.
Like
These are
X.
not people to be trusted, liked, or ingratiated to. They're people to try and see as a tool because they are not your friends. They're public figures that serve a purpose in society. Now, that purpose can be good when it's done right, but that's like putting yourself on a personal level with them is one of the stupidest things you could do.
That is an amusing juxtaposition between Mark Zuckerberg and Addison Rae. I never thought I would say a sentence like that.
Yeah.
But he is saying that the corporate world needs more masculine energy because he has an agenda and an audience he's trying to appeal to.
They go the way the wind blows.
Disingenuously.
In the chest.
And then Addison Rae similarly is just saying the opposite because she has an agenda and a very niche audience she's trying to appeal
The
to.
hardest part about doing this job is trying to explain to people that I feel nothing towards any of these people. They are all empty, faceless blobs that serve no purpose other than mild forms of entertainment from some of them. And when it comes to the tech oligarchs, they make products that may make your life better. They may make your life worse. But I feel literally, as far as I can get for the idea of stoicism, I feel nothing towards any celebrity. It doesn't matter how stupid something they say is. It doesn't matter how much they say something I agree with. I don't care because I don't know them as an actual person. They're barely, I don't want to say they're not human beings to me, but they're avatars of who they actually are. Not that they're not real people, but as somebody who doesn't know them personally, I can't speak to that. So all I can speak to is the shell of their comments.
Well, they've built brands for themselves and want to be known by those brands or those characters that they've written.
Yeah.
Not who they are. So it's fair for you to say that.
And that's fine. And the same would be true for you if you're watching this and us. You can't know me as a person. You can't know Mary as a person. You can know as much as you can know from opinions that we share on topics that are of interest in the news.
Right.
People are a lot more dynamic than that. And that's true for all of these people as well. They are more than their public beliefs, than their publicly held beliefs.
I hope it's evident enough by now that I don't espouse my views in a way that is just to appeal to our audience.
Yeah.
I am willing to go out on a limb and say something that's unpopular And I think that also makes things more interesting anyway.
Simon Pepsi in the chat says they don't care about you either. Yeah, that's the point. I don't care about them. They don't care about me. It is ostensibly a business transaction in every sense of the word. Like whether it's you using X, whether it's Meta, whether it's whether you're a person who decides to listen to Addison Rae. God help us all.
Yeah.
Like it's a business transaction.
Mark Zuckerberg wants you to use Facebook. Elon wants you to use X and buy an EV.
Yeah.
And Addison Rae wants you to stream her new song, High Fashion.
And whatever that takes for them to get you to do that, they will do because that's the way the world works. That's why capitalism works better than communism, because they understand that people are inherently self-interested and they will work to produce products that may be for the benefit of others, but will largely benefit them through sale and purchase.
Go off, Brett.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.